I know.
Aloha, good morning. I'm here with two of my good friends who love to foil, and we're just gonna have a sit-down chat about what it's like for them to e-foil, why they're in it, and also ask them some specific questions about how it feels to be 80 years old and still in the water on a foil. So I want to introduce Donald and Junior. Junior, could you just let them know who you are and what a little bit of your background?
Junior. Little windsurfing, little kiting, little winging, little e-foiling, foil driving,
And how old are you currently?
pushing 81.
81. Jeez. Okay, and Donald.
Yes, yes, yes. I just turned 80 in January and started foiling the same time with Alika. And I want to tell you how I got into it, which is really, it kind of blew me. I've been in the water my whole life. And I started when I was about 8 years old, and we can go through a historical thing. And being 80 and being in the water, you've gotten to experience a lot of different disciplines. And you know, like all of us, we at that young age, you start surfing, and you don't know what the future is going to bring. You start surfing, you enjoy surfing. You get a little bit older, you meet some other guys, and they say, "Hey, let's go paddle canoe." So you get into paddling, you paddle for Huinalo, you paddle for outrigger. And then you get a little bit older, you go to school, you go to college, you get into an employment. I went into the fire department. And then in the fire department, guys were diving. You know, diving with scuba tank and doing that sort of thing, laying nets. So I got into that, and then met another friend who was trolling. He said, let's go trolling. So I bought a boat, and I had a couple boats, got into trolling. And then got back into canoe paddling again, and then subsurfing. So that's kind of been like just a storybook of the journey. So one day I was out at Courts, and I was subsurfing, and I was taking my cruise back through Waikiki. So I passed a wall, and I see this guy out there just ripping. And I pulled on the side, and I looked at it, and I said, what in the hay is he doing? And it was a guy that was e-foiling. That's my first experience seeing that guy. What was it, about 4 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago we've been foiling. And it's the first time I saw that. And I think that was Wadu probably.
Okay.
Yeah? Was Wadu. So I looked online, trying to figure out how in the heck I can get involved in this. And I saw a Kickstart program with Wadu, and they were offering the Wadu at that time for like about $3,500. So I made the purchase, was like June, July. I didn't get the board until December, January. But in the beginning, even with Alika, there was nobody here to tell us, you know, what you cannot do, how to set up the board, what kind of maintenance you gotta go through, how you stand up, how you fall down, what you wear, and all of this stuff. Was just trial and error, and it took a couple times, and then after a while we built a community, and then with the community and with the lift community, I eventually sold the Wadu, and then I got into lift. But with the lift community, and then with Alika as our lead, you know, guy that we can follow, and being a dealer, you know, there's a lot of communication that you need that goes along. Because eventually you're going to run into issues with the board, and it's good to have a community that you can really rely on to figure out what your problems are. So it's been a good journey,
So one of the things that I've heard from many other people who are older, right? They're my aunties, my uncles, my grandparents, or my parents actually, and they tend to slow down, right? 60, 70, 80, most people I know tend to slow down. You two have been like my idol for the past 4 or 5 years because you don't slow down. You haven't slowed down. So I wanted to ask you, what is it? Why do you keep jumping in the water? why are you in this sport of foiling and e-foiling specifically? Junior, can you share a little bit about why you're still going?
I first started with windsurfing. That would require a little more physical and a little more skill level things. Anyway, I've slowed down some. I need an assistant now. I need a little motor to help me move around. So e-foil is a good thing. I started off with a foil drive first, and then I worked down to e-foil. The the motor that kind of inspired me to get into it because it helped me get in the water, go around, drive around, or I would say move around the water. If it wasn't for the motor, I don't think I'll be in the water. I'll be just watching. Because I wanted to wing at first. I got exposed to e-foiling. Alika and James, they were teaching e-foiling when I arrived at Sand Island boat ramp here, and when I first seen that, I said, "Oh, that might be my sport. I don't have to work too hard now."
So you would say kiting and winging takes a lot more energy than you were willing to put in. And
Yeah.
The motorized with the foil drive and with the e-foil made it more accessible.
A little more expensive, but yes, it made it easier for me to get back into the water. Winging, kiting, windsurfing required a little more equipment, more attention to different things. And I think the skill level has kind of go up a little. Luckily, I had some kind of background on the foil part of it. Back in Maui, where we were shaping some foils, masts, when it first came out, Lift came out with their own foil. I purchased their e-foil back, I don't know, before I came back to Oahu. Had a brand new setup. I had to come back to Oahu and take care of my folks. Well,
you were on Maui though, and you moved to Hawaii.
Yeah. I had to move to Oahu. I had a brand new lift package, foil package. Never touched water. Arrived at Oahu, I was going to use it, but I didn't use it. Still brand new, back in my home right now. Brand new. You know, anybody wants it?
Well, we're gonna find a place to sell that thing.
Yeah. But anyway, motorized. That made it easier. That brought me back into the water again.
Nice.
I can go out to the ocean without any big effort because of the motor. Okay. It allows me to maybe get more waves if I'm going to do some surfing, which I like. But right now, the motor helps.
Oh, for sure.
So a lot of times people talk about foiling being a dangerous sport. It is there's a lot of potential for incidents, and if you don't know much about foiling and you're just thinking about getting into it, there's some reluctance or maybe some hesitation because of the potential danger. Donald, what would you say to us about the dangers that you've seen or been exposed to, and how would you advise someone who wants to get into foiling about the dangers?
You know, I think anybody that's looking to get into e-foiling needs to answer that question first. Because when I saw that guy out there at the walls, you look at the best part of e-foiling, and you see this guy on the wave. I mean, not just ripping around, but there's more to than just standing up and doing that. And those are the things that you have to learn. For those of us that have a water background, it helps to look at the next discipline. And this is like the next discipline for me, e-foiling, transition from surfing, sub paddling, and then, getting into this. I I still paddle one man, but those are the things that are in the back. And I still subsurf, but I paddle. I mean, I e-foil. But the thing is that like anything that you do, there's a side of it that you're going to experience a bad fall. I mean, all of us had bad falls in anything that we've done, and I've had a couple out here on the way, and I banged my shin, and I thought I broke my shin in the water, and I can barely get back on my board, and I'm trying to paddle in, and I'm resting on the side, just trying to recoup, and I'm out there by myself. So those things happen. They happen. And if you're looking to get into it, you need to understand that there are dangers, that there's maintenance that you need to pull on your board, and there's always a safety issue, safety first, and then foil. And never think that you're good enough to do something. For us here in Hawaii, we have so many opportunities to try different areas that have different conditions. Here we surf a lot at Sand Island, and on the inside it's kind of like baby canoes. There's flat water. You can learn. You can figure out how to get up, how to fall. How to ride, how to throttle up, throttle down. Maybe let go of the trigger a little bit and float a little bit on the wing. And then if you want to get out on a nice day, you can always get out on the outside reef, Sand Island, just experience a little bit and then come back in. But always buddy up.
Always buddy up. I think that's a huge, huge message to share is when you're foiling, especially e-foiling, where you can go long distances, far off locations that are away from everyone else. To buddy up is important, or to have a safety plan in case you're out there on your own, to be able to call in to a family, friend who's on shore to help get you safely back home. Now we talked about some of the physical stuff and the dangers and what it takes to ride a foil. What about more of the mental and the spiritual side of foiling? Do you find that there's benefit, Junior, in for your soul, for your spirit, for your mental health when you're out there on the ocean so often?
First, I'd like to say, if you're going to get into the water, take a lesson. Take a lesson. Highly trained instructors out there nowadays are highly trained. Get a lesson. Get the dollars out there and get a lesson. They include land instruction, safety, what kind of equipment you should get, how dangerous the equipment is, etc., etc. Get a lesson. Number one, get a lesson. Don't just go in the water. If you don't know how to swim, just don't go in the water. Get a lesson. The instructor will know what kind of skill level you'll have, or you need to get to foil, so you can practice the different things that you need to know to foil. So get a lesson. Whether you're going to just learn how to swim, just going to learn how to sit on a board, or lay on a board, or what have you. Get a lesson, period. From there on, it's going to be like, oh, I want to be in the sport, I don't want to be in the sport, whatever. But get a lesson. That's all I can say is get a lesson first. Just don't go in the water. Get a lesson.
What about you, Donald, as far as on the, not the physical side, but more the mental?
My family, my girls, my daughters, like I said, I've been in the water my whole life. I mean, and I even like today, I work part-time as a lifeguard for the city and county for like 2 days a week, just to do something else besides being retired. But one of my girls, she found this saying, and it said, "To some, it's just water. To me, this is where I gain my sanity." And that for me is like my my poster. When I get in the water, I'm a Hawaiian, part Hawaiian. it's just like part of you, part of your DNA. And to be in the water, like if I'm sick, I mean, I feel like I need to get in the water. I'm there at least maybe 3, maybe 4 times a week. And when I don't get in the water, I get a little grumpy. But this is where I find my sanity. And for me, when I ride outside a lot. And it's I compare it to like the one man. I always rode by myself, and I would, always, like do maybe like a Hawaii Kai run, or run from Makapu down, or run outside to Rabbit Island and go down to the Mokes and then turn around and come back. But this foil offers me the same experience with the motor. And when I do my run, I might run from here, Sand Island, run all the way up to, Waikiki, but I'm outside and I'm there by myself or with Junior, and we're riding together and having that same experience of that inner soul. And sometimes I just, I throttle down, I get off the board and I just sit on the board. I mean, just to be in the water, and I'm out there, and I always pair like a pair of goggles because I used to be a diver. I'm always looking to see what's underneath. But that is really important to me as far as what I do now. Being a little bit older, like Junior said, we've slowed down. I mean, memory goes, body gets a little slower. I can't pop up like you. When I was 50, I could do what you did. I mean, I could pop up, I could do anything. But and when you get to your 60s, you slow down, 70s, and you want to know when this thing is going to stop. But so the being 80 and moving forward, I think for Junior and I, it just gives us the opportunity to stay in the water.
So how often are you in the water?
Like, today I work Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll jump in today. I'll jump in maybe tomorrow, and then one more day. So I'll foil 3 days.
Okay.
I'll foil 3 days.
What about you, Junior? How often?
I'd like to foil every day, but I don't. If I get 15 minutes a day, I'm good. I'm not a good foiler, but I like to be in the water. Whether I foil good or don't foil good, I just want to be in the water.
Yeah.
It gives you that, I don't know, inner calmness when you're in the water. Whether I'm on foil or just laying on the board or just looking around, just being in the water, feel some kind of calmness in myself. I don't have to be in a wave. Can be in flat water, can be in a lake, can be anywhere, as long as the water, as long as the shark don't bite me, I'll be okay.
So there's a lot of focus that we put on talking about your age and what it does for you. But you've mentioned that each of you started maybe 4 to 5 years ago. So you started mid-70 on this Efoil, and I have a lot of potential customers who are 60, mid-60s, and they're saying, I'm too old. What do you think about age? Is that just a thing, a mental thing? Is it real? What would you say to someone, Donald, that is hesitating, even trying anything new, foil or otherwise, that requires some level of fitness and water activity?
Nothing ever stays the same, no matter what it is. I mean, your life, everything changes, and just like time moves on, you get older. I would for those that have experienced some type of water activity, I would say, kind of like go for it. Like Junior said, take a lesson, see how if you want to transition to this, and talk to some people before you get involved. Obviously, there is an investment. I gotta say that if you're 60 years old, you don't even. I mean, you are young. I mean, when I was 60, I mean, I was still surfing. I was still able to pop up, But I knew that at some point in time I was going to have to transition. When you get older, it's harder to pop up, so I transitioned to subsurfing. But I was paddling one man. I was 60. I mean, I was still strong. I was still strong at 70. I was still strong when we started in mid 70s. And slowing down a little bit, a little bit harder to get up. But you this is kind of, for me, it's part of growing old. If you don't do these things, you're gonna wither away. Grab the baton, see how it works, and see if this is something you like. Today we got a gorgeous day. Wind dropped, really sunny. Outside should be really nice. The swell just went down, so the water conditions should be really nice. Probably just a wind swell, maybe not too much surf swell. Water should be clean, so it would be a really good day to try to experience these things. If you haven't done any type of water activity, you can still do it. You can still do it, but take a lesson. Take a lesson, learn the pitfalls, learn the do's and don'ts, and then decide if that's something you want to do.
Well, I wanna say something here. It's I've been holding up my two friends here for the last 25, 30 minutes. I already feel that they are anxious to get in the water, so I don't want to run it on too much longer. But I did want to ask one last question for each of you: is can you share a story about your foiling experience that was just your favorite moment that'll go down with you for the rest of your life? Junior, you want to start with your favorite thing about foiling? Maybe a specific incident, maybe a story you want to share.
Out here, St. Island, going out on the channel here, approaching this small wake. It's time to turn on the wake. Don't be too aggressive on small stuff. Look out. I fell down anyway and got stabbed by my own front foil. So watch out for that. Other than that, it's like it's quiet. If you're on the foil and going on flat water, it's really quiet actually. You find it quiet out there. That's why I look at it.
Okay. What about you, Junior? Your favorite moment
I,
or story?
there's a lot of them. I mean, riding out there, I've seen porpoises. I've seen some big guys in the water out there by the channel. And the surfers are on the inside and, maybe like 15 foot.
Yep.
And I can see that dark shadow in the water. I've been one day, outside here at Sand Island, when you go out the channel on the left-hand side past the buoy, is a real good break. But it only breaks when it kind of it's got to be overhead. And one day it was like flat. It wasn't really glassy, but it was flat. And I was cruising out, and I've never been out that side to foil surf. I've always been, outside by the harbor. I'll go to Waikiki. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take a chance because I was riding by myself. So I was kind of like cruising on the inside, and I was watching the waves. And I finally went out like on the side, like you catching a shoulder, and I saw the thing. And I came around, and I made my turn, and I said, I'm going to commit. And I caught the wave. Wasn't a big one, but was on the inside, one of the ones on the inside. And for me, that was really something because I was the only guy in the water out there.
Yeah.
And that's, and again, when I talk about, to some it's just water, for me it's like gaining my sanity. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's like, it's like maybe Kai Lenny, doing twisters on a Jaws wave. I mean, that's like insane what he does. But for me, that was like my moment, being at this age, being able to still ride and do something like that. that was awesome. That was awesome.
I love hearing the stories. I really, I've been saying this for years now to you guys and to everyone who listens that you guys have been my inspiration. I'm in my early 50s. I aspire to be in my early 80s someday and doing what you guys do. You really do warm my heart and
You
inspire
know, I really like the glide on the foil.
me.
No, that's
Mm.
Yeah.
you see the cut the wave, the glide on the foil. That's the thing because you shut everything off.
And it's
You're not
quiet.
you're not pumping. You're
Quiet.
not motoring. You're not doing anything. You just like an airplane gliding, like a glider. You don't do nothing.
Yeah.
I like that part.
Yeah, it's
Gliding.
magic. Absolute magic. So, anyway, thanks for sharing part of your life and part of your foil story with us. Anyone out there who has more questions, you want to see, have specific questions for either of these two gentlemen, just drop a message and let us know what you think. And thanks for sharing, guys. Appreciate the time.